For the January 14th Village of Webster Board meeting. Trustee Lancy, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we get started this evening in the public portion of the meeting, I have three statements that I'd like to read. The first statement was prepared by Karen Buck, who is the programming director for Webster Cable Access TV. Regretfully, Village Cable Access Television will no longer be broadcasting the Village Board meetings live. For the foreseeable future, meetings will now be recorded and aired at a later date. This action is due to the use of offensive language at the past two board meetings. The station must comply with FCC regulations, which do not allow that type of language to be broadcast. There are consequences for using offensive language on air, and could result in future village board meetings being banned from broadcast on cable TV. The station is taking this action to protect the younger viewers who may be watching, and to ensure programming remains family-friendly for all residents. We appreciate your understanding in this matter and hope to resume live broadcasts for the community in the future. I think the first word pretty much states it, regretfully, and I do apologize for the actions of some of our attendees. The next statement is regarding meeting conduct and safety. It has been brought to my attention by the town supervisor of the town of Webster and the Webster police chief that a village resident has been attending our meetings carrying a concealed handgun. While there is no local law prohibiting this action, I am very concerned that said person, who has shown a propensity to aggravate outbursts, has chosen to carry a concealed handgun to a village board meeting. I am not alone in this concern, especially given that there was a restraining order issued against the same person subsequent to his actions directed towards a female attendee approximately 2 years ago. Given my concerns and the concerns of others, I have asked our village attorney, Don White, to draft a local law prohibiting handguns or weapons of any sort on village properties. I will present this local law to the village board to review and consider. It is unlawful for concealed carry permit holders to carry in state, federal, county, city of Rochester, and school buildings. Therefore, the village of Webster would not be unique in considering the proposed local law. It is also my understanding that the town of Webster board will be considering a similar law in the near future. My next statement is more of an update, but I put together a statement regarding our current composting issue. And I'm doing this for the board and also for the town and village residents. Since the passage of the composting resolution, the village has completed the following. The proper hauling permits have been applied for. Samples of the compost piles on the pad have been submitted for testing, and the results should be available in a week to a week and a half. Air testing has been completed, and the results should also be available in 1.5 weeks. Salmonella test samples will be submitted on the finished compost in the barn on January 19th, and results should be returned within 7 business days. This finished compost will be removed from the barn at no cost to the village of Webster. Empire Wrecking will be removing the 275 tires holding the tarps down at a cost of $2 per tire. Approximately 150 tires have already been removed. Rough figures are being developed to haul the compost piles on the pad utilizing our employees and a third-party hauler. The estimated cost is approximately $24,000 to $34,000 at this time. We are soliciting for bids from other haulers also. I have asked our village treasurer to add a budget line in the 0108 section of our current budget to track all expenditures related to the removal of all composting at the sewage treatment plant. This will ensure an accurate accounting for the village Webster taxpayers. So at this time, I will open up the public portion of the meeting. Please keep your comments to 5 minutes. Should you wish to speak, give us your name and address. Since there's no one to speak this evening, we will move right into agenda item 1, which is a resolution to approve the minutes. The first is the village board meeting, December 10th, 2015. Questions? In that event, I'll entertain a motion and second to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
I believe that we should amend then the list here at the top. Present, trustee Balkane was absent, trustee Byers was in attendance. Okay,
Last meeting.
That's what it says. It says absent was Belkane.
true,
No.
but in present,
It
trustee
says-
Balkane was.
Present
there.
Balkane.
Oh, he's in the top two, okay, yeah.
So, aye,
Yeah, Trustee Belkane's listed twice.
yes.
He was here, but he wasn't. He was here in spirit.
He's president, that's a trick.
That is the case, though.
But,
Even when he's
But
president,
aye.
he's absent.
aye,
Trustee
Aye.
Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
With the
With
revisions.
the revision.
pardon?
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, how can we amend the motion halfway through the vote?
Is this the public comment portion of the section?
No, it's not. Mr. Walters, please. Next is the village special board meeting of December 17th. Any questions? In that event, I'll entertain a motion in a second to accept the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye,
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next is a resolution to approve the claims and warrants. I had a question regarding the doors that were, we spent $2,400 on. Jake?
For the greenhouse.
Yeah. My question was not specifically the purchase of them, because I'm sure they needed to be done, but why do we pay extra money to have one door widened when opening's like 6 inches or something like that? Because that's gonna, I'm presuming,
Yeah, I'll have to,
it's not a standard size now, and it's gonna cost more
I'll have to
money.
look into it unless it was a non-standard size before and they brought it out to a standard size, would be my assumption, but I'll,
Yeah, I was just curious about that. And then there was I think $1,050 purchase for, emergency purchase for broken glass.
that was down at on the greenhouse as well.
What happened, you know?
They're just over time, we didn't pour drying beds very often at all. So I guess the tightness of that building wasn't our top priority. But once those drying beds were poured, there was an odor in there. That's why I tried.
I didn't know whether
closing
some
it up.
kids have been throwing rocks. When you said emergency, I thought it was like it just happened.
No, no. it was
I know
just-
the windows you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Yep, I got you.
now will those be noted on that budget line for STP that we're talking about, new one, or not?
It will be new, yes.
So that, those will be noted on that budget line,
Yes.
because they were in fact done because of,
Well, I would say in this instance, those are long overdue repairs, so I would say no.
okay.
So I'll entertain it, unless anyone else has any questions. The only other question I have was the $600 for SMP that we paid Josette. I understand, the 1 hour I have no problem with. It was just, I don't know, it took 2 hours to change passwords with SMP.
No, sir. He did more than that. He did an actual backup.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't see the word backup in there. I'm just asking because I thought, I saw passwords and a couple other things and I just,
He had to come back the next day.
okay.
He ran overnight. He had to do something overnight, and then he came in the morning. And it was 2 hours.
All right, so well, that explains it then, because 2 hours to change passwords to me seemed a little bit. All right, any other questions, gentlemen? Judy? All right, I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the claims and warrants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have a resolution to approve the appointment of Joe O'Neill as deputy clerk with the following terms. Her term ending May 31st, 2016, at an annual salary of $42,000, with a start date of Friday, January 15th. So I'll entertain a motion in a second for this appointment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I believe, help me if I'm wrong, the computer now, the password has been changed and the deputy clerk's computer station is now open, right?
Yes.
Okay, and anything that was apparently deleted is on the backup and has been restored?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does Joe have a password to get in now?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next is a resolution to authorize Mayor Cahill to sign the settlement agreement with Marine Shale Processors, PRP Group, regarding we talked about this, I believe, at the last board meeting. Questions? All right, then I'll entertain a motion in a second to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Well, maybe you want a second resolution then to not only sign the settlement agreement, but to issue a check for
A
the
check,
settlement.
yes. What was the amount on that, Don?
$2,500.
Yeah.
I think we determined was,
Pardon me?
we determined that was a bargain, so maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, the amount should be in there. All right, so resolution authorized Mayor Cahill to sign a settlement agreement with Marine Shale and to issue a check for the agreed upon amount, which is $2,500. So you just please add that to the resolution verbiage. Josette, please.
Yes.
Questions?
I'll
make the motion. Okay.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So just note, you have to sign that settlement agreement before a notary.
Okay,
Okay, John.
sure. You're a notary, right?
Yes, sir.
I thought we'd do that after the meeting tonight.
Did you just ask her if she was an auditor?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you?
Well, it was more of a statement.
So, should know
I
that.
said, you're a notary, aren't you?
Just check.
You have the agreement, I can sign after.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. All right, next is authorization to pay Lou Engineers $6,350.01 for professional services rendered November 2015 related to the North Avenue project to be paid out of the North Avenue Reserve account. Questions? I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane? Trustee Abolito? Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Don?
The only thing I wanted to bring up was with the Cricket lease termination agreement. I sent it to Dick Metzger.
Yep.
Even though Dick agreed with me that under the lease that the village has, it's unclear whether they have any real approval authority one way or the other.
Right.
But we said, just to play safe, we'll send it to him. So he had a couple of changes that he wanted to the agreement that I said were okay. One of them, he wanted, I don't know if I brought it all with me, he wanted that the last part, that the split of the fee had nothing to do with the retail lease agreement, because there's nothing in there that says the county water authority gets any share of any part of the cell tower revenues. He must have that in other agreements where they do get a piece of the cell tower revenues for a certain period of time, but yeah, so anyhow.
Some of them they do.
I'm not gonna incorporate that in the change, but the other ones I will. And his main one was that changing the termination date of the lease from December 31 to whatever time Cricket removes the hazardous stuff.
That's a good point he made, though.
Yeah.
We should still be deriving revenue until
Right,
they've
because that gives
actually
them
done
that gives them some incentive to get that
Right.
stuff out of there,
Right.
because they're still paying rent while it's up there. So that made sense. And I told him, with respect to the split of the termination fee, that we need to have a separate agreement between the village and the water authority with respect to that, because it's not covered under
Right.
the lease. And so he put together a small, just a short letter agreement, and there was a couple of changes I wanted to that, but then, which I emailed, well, I thought I emailed to Dick until I found out that our internet service stopped working at my office at about 3 o'clock, so I don't think he got it. So I was hopeful to have that tonight, but I don't, because I'm not sure he got the my changes, but it's just gonna be a simple, he drafted it. The letter's gonna say, you know, and this is a letter to Nick Noche, the Executive Director of the Water Authority. As discussed with Richard Metzger, we have completed the negotiations with Cricket Wireless for the early termination of the lease at the South Avenue tank site. Attached is the final termination agreement. The consideration to be provided by Cricket to, and he had the wrong word, he had the lease, but I think what he meant was to leave certain equipment on the site, and tank will be split equally between the village and the authority, $10,000 each. Please acknowledge your acceptance of this agreement below and return one copy to me. So I wanted him just to add a sentence saying that that the water authority is going to be solely responsible for the equipment that's
Right.
left on the tank.
That's good.
That's why
Good
we're
idea.
paying them, that's why
Right.
they're getting $10,000, is
Right.
because if they want to take it off, they got to take it off, remove it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would have cost the village $9,800 to do it ourselves anyhow, to hire Fred Nudd to do it, so.
And that
for two-
doesn't include the possibility of any
Right.
painting, which would
Right.
have
So I
required us
think
to
for
hire a third party.
for the $200, it's probably worth it, just let the
Yeah.
water authority deal with it.
Yeah.
But, so I was hopeful to have that little agreement tonight so that it could be approved, but because my internet's not working, I wasn't able to do that. So as soon as we get that,
Okay.
we'll probably put it on the agenda in 2 weeks to approve the little side agreement with the Water Authority.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay.
Office, Josette?
We will be, I just want to say that we'll be closed on Martin Luther King Day, Monday, the 18th. We have sent out letters in our search for Clerk 3. Those all went out today, just to update.
Great, thank you very much for that, appreciate it.
And we're still dealing with the computer companies. I'm still getting quotes from.
Did you put a RFP together and send that out, so they're all bidding on the same thing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Could you just, because I never saw the RFP. Could you just send me a copy, and anybody else that wants one, could you do that, please?
I sent them information, all that I will send it to you.
All right.
I got
Could you
the-
copy in the board members too, please, so everybody's on the same page? Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Next is a comp and overtime report. You guys have any questions on the comp and overtime report for Jake?
Not much snow all the time.
1.5 hours? Is that what I'm saying?
For Christmas, yeah. Next one will change.
Yeah. We've been primarily just salting, right? We haven't plowed yet at all, have we? Just salted.
We plowed once when I was out, that Tuesday, and then salted a few times. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're, and the call-in hours that are on there for the DPW personnel have to do the parade of lights, setting up those things and little stage sections and then tearing
Yeah.
those down and stuff afterwards, and the barricades and all that, so. Yeah, so,
By the way, thanks for, I don't know if I conveyed this to you, I think I may have, but, Matt was doing the cleanup, and then the place, it was a mess. And Monday morning, I was in the village at like 6:30 in the morning, I don't know where I was going, but guys did a phenomenal job cleaning up. I mean, there was garbage everywhere.
yeah.
So I appreciate the fact that, unannounced, can you please, I asked him to call you and talk to you. He's like, I'll do it if you want. I'm like, no, that'll be Jake's call. But I appreciate you asking the guys and their cooperation and staying later and cleaning up the
The weather helped us out a lot. It wasn't too cold. We were
So-
able to get our sweeper back out and blow off the sidewalks and run down with the sweeper again, so.
Well, it was a tremendous difference this year versus last year as far as the amount of garbage that's left the following day. Because this guy right here called me in the morning.
Oh, it's
He
terrible.
goes, you better get downtown and start cleaning up.
Yeah, and I don't know what.
So my son and I did.
I don't know what happened because it's never been like that. This is the first year that it's been. Did we not have a lot of garbage pulled out or something? I've
We have
never
our
seen so much-
normal street cams. I think we just had a lot more people.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
was
what I wondered.
decent.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it was decent weather and they didn't have their heavy coats on to put stuff in, I guess.
All right, Jake, do you have anything for us this evening?
No, I didn't win the Powerball, so I'm here. And I believe we're gonna get snow sometime. It always averages out the same, so just normal seasonal reminders,
Yeah.
the people to please make sure you're off the road 2 to 6 so we can clear the roads. Drive careful. We use a sensible salting model where we just salt the intersections and the curves, really, in the hills.
Right.
So straightaways are gonna have snow on them. But everybody needs to slow down. It's winter time.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I know as far as snow comparison, this year versus last year, we're very fortunate, given the severity of the last 2 winters that we've had. I'll take this all day long. It's been lucky, but your point that you're making is very valid, because I think it was probably, I was talking to someone about this yesterday, that it was probably 7 years ago with pretty mild winter, and then March hit and we got dumped on. I don't know if you remember that or not, but same thing could happen. But the longer we can deal with no snow and, decent weather temperatures, I'll take it.
Every day is closer, a day closer to spring, so.
There you go.
I think it was Wednesday when the weekly weather briefing came out, we were 32.9 inches below average snowfall for the season from October 1st to now, so it's certainly nice not to have to move that and deal with it, so.
And I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Jake, because he took me down to the sewer treatment plant, and so he and John toured me around there, and I even went out to the town of Ontario with them and had a discussion on their plans for how they have it out there, so I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
Did you buy him lunch? Take that as a no.
I think from the look you just got, that's a no.
I didn't hear, so.
It's all right, you didn't need to. It's okay.
Anybody have announcements this evening?
No. I have a couple of things, if I may.
Sure.
Jake, do you know, in terms of Lou Engineering and the North Avenue project, they were talking about public meeting? Is there, anything about their timeline, their scheduling, if they're going to be doing that?
Funny is
in
that
the spring?
they are, and I actually emailed Bob Hudeman today, he's the president of Lou Engineers. I think the right-of-way work is taking them a little bit longer than they anticipated. And they've got to we met with the DOT about a month and a half ago, perhaps. Basically they'll go through and set what they think the right-of-way is based on the maps and everything. They have all their information, and the DOT gets it, reviews it, and then everybody basically, has to agree this is a right-of-way. And those right-of-way boundaries are so important because because there's federal funds going through, they establish the work area. You can't do anything outside of the right-of-way, so that kind of establishes where you are in regards to the entire project. So once that base is set, then they're going to go up. But I sent an email to Bob today, wondering about, because there's a design advisory committee about when we're going to meet on that and start making those decisions. I hadn't heard back from Bob yet. Because
Will we be able to incorporate that corner? Is the state moving at all on the corners
Yeah.
property?
The indication was that it was, because it's still within a right-of-way, it's a state right-of-way, that could be incorporated into it regardless of whether or not it transfers just yet. But that would still, ideally, we'd make sure we get that at the end of the day. But they were supposed to be the next get-together was going to be right before the holidays here, so we're a couple weeks back from what we anticipated.
I noted, this is for both Don and you, that Mrs. Ruby has died.
Yes.
So there was a memo, or there was a note in the minutes of the Historic Preservation Committee regarding that. And are we now moving forward with the removal of that pad? Don, is legally now, is this the time that we can do that, or what?
Well, off the top of my head, I believe the easement agreement that was entered into between the village and Mrs. Ruby, which was recorded in the clerk's office, so any purchaser is on notice of it, provides for the removal of the pad upon her death. So,
She had liked you.
I noticed there was I think the minutes of the Historic Preservation Commission had some concern that it gets done before.
It's purchased by someone else.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't
'cause
Yeah, I know
they're
it
on,
doesn't
they're on
matter,
notice
but
because the easement was recorded, so
Yeah.
Okay.
there's really no urgency to do it before the house transfers, because it's not their property, it's in the easement. We did they quit claimed any interest that they may have had to that property to the village, was part of that agreement too, so. So it's up
Another
to,
time is in
it's
the
up
springtime,
to
actually,
Jake
than
and
now.
DPW. I don't know if they're gonna do it in-house or what you're gonna do.
What I anticipated is doing it
Yeah.
in-house, but I think I'd certainly
wanna
be
wait
wise
till
to
that-
get it staked out as well,
Well, you want to wait probably till the spring anyhow to do it, so.
Right.
You stake it out now. There's no harm in that, right?
Well, you know, provided good location on the stakes and everything is visible, if they put a pin down in the sidewalk, we get it staked out, and if the weather stays like it is, it's something that wouldn't
You
take a
could
ton of
pull it,
time.
you could pull it, you
We
could
could go out
saw
and pull
cut
it
it and pull it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
Hate to leave a
Couple
mess,
hours.
though.
I know.
Well, I think we even topsoil it and,
Yeah.
you know, honestly, seeding it in the fall or winter time's not a terrible time to get it established, because it gets under that
Exactly.
blanket of snow, so.
Exactly.
We get an opportunity to might be a good thing, because it's a short project too, a small,
Yeah.
short-term thing, so.
Well, there might be some restoration of the driveway that's left. You can't just saw off so
Yeah.
you may need asphalt to do that with, and
That part, obviously, we wouldn't be able to do this time.
so that's why don't you just, there's no rush. Why
Right.
do it now in the winter? It doesn't make any sense to me. I would, I don't know.
Yeah,
If it were me, I'd wait till like warmer weather, and I don't know anything about blacktop, but it seems to me if it's cold out and it freezes and you're chopping it up, and maybe you're gonna cause more damage to the driveway that's left,
Those guys are pretty good with tobacco,
Well,
believe me. You saw cut that thing and it's that cold.
What's the urgency though?
There is no urgency, I'm just
Right.
answering
No,
the question.
I'm just asking them,
Well, I don't know,
just brought it up.
well, I know why you brought it up, but now you're talking about like you're gonna do it next week or something.
Let's go ahead out now after
I
the
would
meeting.
really, personally, I would ask you to do it later.
Yeah,
Because
we'll take a
even if
peek
you
at
put
it.
topsoil, it's gonna be wet, it's gonna have tire tracks probably and all that.
Yeah, we'll take a peek at it and see. First thing, I wanna make sure that we're staying within the boundaries of where we are, so. And then, we'll go from there. We'll stake out and we'll talk about it and see what the conditions are.
As I recall, I think, and again, after this, it's been a while, but I think that we paid to have, when it was surveyed 2 years ago or whenever it was, we paid to have extra pins put in along the property line. So I don't think there shouldn't be any need now to go out and put more stakes in to denote where that line is, because they should already be there.
Yeah, it's just locating the pins.
Yeah.
There as well.
So the next village workshop will be January 20, or the next village board meeting, excuse me, will be January 28th. Next village board workshop will be February 2nd. So at this time, unless anyone has any other things they'd like to bring up, I'll entertain a motion and a second to close the meeting. If you want to stay, we can stay, I guess, but
No, I'm good.
we make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Jerry made the motion. Do I have a second to close the meeting?
Yeah, no problem.
Al, do you want to stay, or?
I'll second.
All right.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.